Alright, we're back, and today's going to be a little bit different of a video. A little bit less about actually doing the next step of progression and a little more of discussing what needs to happen going forward. So, I have the centrifuge that is running our purified ores that come in, and we're getting out dust and our tiny refined ores out of it. Now, what we need is a filter. And to make a filter, we need a blank cover. And then we can make a item filter, which is this, with some zinc. Now, the problem is that the blank cover takes aluminum. And aluminum is not easy in a very intricate next step. So if we go and look at aluminum dust, we need alumina, carbon, and that can be any kind of carbon. It can be coal, it can be carbon, it can be graphite if I remember correctly. Trying to find it here. Charcoal. Can't take graphite, right? I'm not forgetting, or I'm not imagining this. Coal coke. Coal coke. Graphite, there it is. So coal, coal coke, charcoal, and graphite, or direct carbon. So it needs alumina, it needs some carbon source, and then we need aluminum fluoride and cryolite. And I'll get into this more when we actually do this. So this is also done in electrolyzer, which means we need some kind of electricity. We can use a dynamo, which is what we will be using when we get there. There is a way to kind of rush this with making a stainless steel crucible, but I don't feel like doing that is the best idea for progressing. I would rather advance our materials and do it with a smelter, which is much easier, much more automatable. So that's what we're going to be working on in the next little bit. I had a stream today where we went walking through the mining dimension, and we got an entire stack of meteorites, which we're going to be using for our next crucible. And I will have a video. I want you guys to kind of tell me in the comments, if you would, which way you would rather see me do this. I can smelt the materials on camera showing you making each one of the crucibles, or I can make each one of the crucibles that we need and then explain how I got the materials and why we needed to do those crucibles, and you won't have to sit and watch me actually cook them in a crucible. I've done both ways, and I have no problem doing either one of them for the video. But I'd like your guys' opinion on whether you'd rather me, actually smelt it and discuss it while I'm doing so, or just go ahead and get it done like in a stream, and then in the video explain why we did each step, and so on and so forth. So the reason why we're discussing upgrading a crucible is I use a smelter for my aluminum setup. I need 2 of them, I do believe, for this. And the smelter is a tungsten crucible inside of a machine. And tungsten, as you can see, melts at 3695. The ceramic crucible we're currently using will boil down at 2500. If you've been using one, you'll definitely know this. Some people absolutely have that number ingrained in their head because they've blown up so many of them. So there's a few crucibles we need to do to get to that tungsten one. We also need to process tungsten because it has a special processing, kind of like aluminum, but way easier. I know for people that play GT5 and GT4, all the way back to GT2, I do believe, getting to tungsten before you get to aluminum is just heresy. It's unheard of. Aluminum is, MV. It's the next step. Tungsten is your final goal. When it comes to material progression. But in GT6, it's not that way. Things are not linear that way. So we will actually have tungsten before we have aluminum, and then we'll have titanium shortly after the aluminum. So it'll be a different stage. Like I said, you can do it with a stainless steel crucible, crucible, and you also need a stainless steel jug. The reason for that is the 1 or 2 of the materials that you need to put in. I showed you the 2 fluids down there. 1 or both of these are, both of them are acidic. So therefore, you need to handle them with something that is stainless steel. And so or something that is acid proof, which would be stainless steel. The other thing that we need to get to is where we can do electricity and being able to actually store it. And for that, we need batteries. And you will notice we have a battery box here, which just need wires, casing, and circuits. But the circuits, we can do all of this except for the buell. That is going to take another kind of crucible, which we can actually make, but we have our basic batteries here, and so we just need lead, and we just need some sulfuric acid. We can make our batteries. We need to bathe this, which isn't a problem. But our major issue is with the board, it takes plastic. And so we need to get to plastic. And getting to plastic means that we need to work on making propylene, which is going to come from fuel. Some kind of, we can do fuel, we can do petrol, we can also do steam cracking, which is butane or methane. And all of these items come out of a distillation tower. So that means we got to do some kind of oil processing to get to these fluids. So then we need to set that up. So that is our next few major steps we're going to be working on. So videos are going to be maybe a little bit in between. It may not be exactly 3 a week like I have been doing. There may be more streams where I'm working on this stuff. But I'm going to do my best to still put out all three. But I wanted to give you guys an idea of what we're working on currently, and just to let you know we're at this crucial point where there's a lot of major gating that needs to be taken care of. You know, we have to get tungsten, we have to get aluminum, we have to get plastic. And then everything after that is, you know, not really gated. It goes back to the more linear doing things as you know, choose to do them. But we're kind of stuck on our ore processing, which is what we've been working on this whole time, because I need filters to filter out these different items. So what we're actually going to do, other than me run my mouth today, is we're going to work on a bit of pseudo sorting, which is going to be a little bit of a pain in the butt, but we're going to try to do it. I'm only going to set up part of this here in the video, and then I will work on the rest of it probably in a stream. But I wanted to give you guys an idea here of what I'm going to be doing. And then the next video, I'll actually show you what all we ended up doing. So I'm going to need a whole lot of planks for this. But for right now, we're just going to make 2 more. I've already got 5 of them made. That's going to need 8 of these. So we need to go treat these. We're making some more barrels. I really don't need them to be iron, but I've got so many things that are already needing to process, and I've made quite a few mining trips already. I don't want to go mine a bunch more galena and lead, so we're going to go ahead and use iron. Iron is not hard to come by. Is there not enough in here? Because I only did 8 pieces. This should be coming out by now. The one thing with it not being hooked up like it was before, I can't always tell if it's just because it's out or if it's just the amount of time it takes to treat, because, well, it does take a little bit of time to do so. Alright, so it did take all of that. So let's see. That takes care of it. It'll be nice when we actually get a proper bath, and then we won't have to do this by hand. But that's going to be something that we need a bunch of stainless steel to do. And I need to get that melted up. I'll probably be doing another one of the build videos to show here in the next few days of me doing a stainless setup. I don't think I'm doing anything. I think those 8 popped back in my inventory. There we go. I seriously think I'm just sitting here playing in a pool. That is exactly what the problem was. I was not doing nothing but diddling around in the damn pool of a saw and a hammer for this, if I remember correctly. Around the bottom of the soft hammer. There we go. So there's our barrel. We don't need to treat them if we do the lead, and if you have enough lead, I would definitely suggest using it, because you don't need quite as much. These are going to hold 10,000 items. We're not going to have nearly that right now. But basically what we're going to be doing is we're going to take each of these materials that we're getting out of here, and we're going to have to do this for any of the tinies as well. Like I'm getting lignite out in tinies, and this is going to be a long process. This is why I'm doing it this way for you guys, because this is something I would spend hours on the stream doing. And I probably will spend hours this weekend doing. I wanted to get something out for you guys today. And without doing this, I can't really do much of my processing without it actually being completely manual processing. Like me literally pulling everything out of the machines by hand every time and switching it over, which gets very old very quick. This so we can make some more item pipes. Charcoal in here. I do believe I'm going to change these over to liquid fuel. Oh, we only have coal coke right now. We only have coal coke at the moment. We're going to throw some sticks in here. But we have so much creosote from Greg changing it. Where did all those sticks go? In there. Yo. Alright, so those are going to cook up. Let's go down in the basement over here. I'm going to show you the idea. So I already have these from the sluice. They're the things we're already getting from these sluice juice. And then I put these down here the other day, and I hooked it up over there. So I already can run tin, zinc, copper, chrome, iron, lignite, and antimony. So what I'm basically going to do is just keep adding these to it. I'm probably going to do this and put them back here. And then run this pipe. This one here will come out, obviously, and go right there. And we're going to run the pipe all the way across it. Now, let me go see if I got some of those pipes done. And try to show you how we're going to work this. There's me some pipes. So what I'm planning on doing is this is the output pipe from our shredder, which is doing all of our little tiny pieces. So we kind of have to be selective of what items we run through here. So I will have to be somewhat picky about, what ores that I actually process and how many item barrels I have down there and ready. And I also am going to have to set each one manually. But the idea is that I'm going to, instead of having this chest, I'm going to run this down and connect it to that same pipe. I need my wrench, which I will take the chest out once I get all this set up. But then what we're going to do is we're going to have this chest as an overflow. So what we need to do is when we get this pipe coming down, I'm actually going to make sure that they're not set like these are. Let me go ahead and pop these out of here. And we're going to put this pipe's connected there. It's then going to run this way across the top of each one of those. Back in here before we bunch of stuff, and we'll throw the liquid there. So this pipe is going to connect over there to that bank, and then it's going to run through this bank. And then we're going to take the end of this pipe and we're going to connect it back up to the pipe that we just set right here on the side. And the reason why is that's going to let all of the dust go past all of the barrels, have a chance to go in them. And then lastly, if it doesn't have a place to go in a barrel, it will go up there. And that should allow, if we're selective of what items we put in that centrifuge up there, only the tiny purifieds will go through and end up in the shredder box. And then after they go in the shredder box, then they will get shredded. They'll come back down and they'll go through and get put in the box. But I'm going to end up having tons of these barrels, which means I'm going to have tons of these pipes. So, like I said, this is going to take a long time. This is basically what this room is going to end up being. Once we go to electricity, we're going to move into the factory over there. A lot of our machines are actually going to start getting set up over there, even though they're steam powered. But we're going to use this for more of a processing area and storage area for dust. This is basically the idea of how I'm going to try to somewhat automate this without having filters. So I'm hoping it's going to work well. Keep an eye this weekend. There should probably be a stream where I will be hooking this up properly and we can try it out. But I'm hoping this is going to work well. It's probably not something I'm going to be able to leave without keeping an eye on it, but if I do things very carefully, I might be able to. Trying to find a... there it is. That's what I was looking for. I want to try what I have right now without emptying that chest, just to see what we end up getting up here, seeing how I don't have that running. We're going to take this out. We're going to leave that as a buffer. We're just going to hook a hopper right there. And that's going to start pulling those items out. And if they can't go to one of those pipes, so we have that stuck in there, but it's not coming up here. So we need to go and figure out why. So that pipe is coming down right there. And that would be your problem. I literally just hooked that up to the ash pipe. So that's not going to go anywhere where it's supposed to. We need to hook this over to this pipe right here. I need to get this pipe we took out upstairs in there. That way, and then we need to go that way. Now that'll allow them to come down. And you'll notice I ended up with tiny piles of sulfur here, but that's because I have no sulfur in here. So that gives me the next thing that I need to deal with. So we're going to go ahead and take this up and switch it over to a dust. And if we look up here in the box, we'll probably have, yeah, see we got pyrite dust in there. That's going to be the next one we need to add. So I'm just going to keep adding every time I get another one that's in one of the places wrong. I'll just throw in another barrel and move it down. And this is going to be a kind of long process, so I wanted to give you guys an overview of how I'm doing it, and this way I can discuss with you why, what problems are going to happen. I hope you guys enjoy this kind of content versus the usual, we're building this thing today. Alright, so there we go. Now if we get any sulfur in there, it can go in there. And we need to do this for the pyrite that came in up here. Go ahead and take that out of there. And we have tiny refined and tiny refined. So far that is working properly. So let's go ahead and turn this one on. Let it start running. Our pyrite right there. That up. Now all of those can go through there. And we'll see how this works. So right now we have pyrite stuck in there, and we have our boxes full there. So it's just going to sit there and wait until whatever is in this pipe right here can go into that box up there, which that box up there is going to empty really fast as soon as this machine is on, because those tiny refines shred very, very fast. But I hope I've done a very, at least adequate job of explaining what we're trying to accomplish here. If anybody has any suggestions on a different way of doing this, by all means, let me know. Show me some pictures. This is just the way I'm going at it this time. A lot of times I literally just do this manually, or I will just hook a set of barrels up to each machine and run one type of ore specifically, catch all the things, and then manually put them over. But this time I wanted to attempt to show you a way to somewhat automate it without filters, just using the mechanics of how the piping works. So hopefully I did a good job with that. Last thing about the crucible upgrade is, if you're following along, when we get to the crucible upgrade, you're going to want to go and get some tantalite ore, because that will unlock the next two crucibles after the one we're doing. So that is why we're doing this, is to get that stuff out of the way. All right, so you'll see now in the shredder we have germanium stuck in there, because it cannot put that downstairs because we do not have germanium in one of these barrels. So that's the next thing that I need to do, is get us a germanium barrel. And this is where I am going to leave you guys while I go and just run back and forth, making more pipes, making more barrels, and setting up more of these things, which I will probably save the game and we will do this on the next stream. which will hopefully be tomorrow afternoon. For you, it'll be today. You may get to see this video before the stream, and you may actually see the stream and come to it and then see the video, because I'll probably be doing this somewhere around noon, 1 o'clock. Video will come out at 10. So hopefully I'll see you there, and we can get to work on this. I will see you guys next time. Don't forget to hit the buttons, do the things. Thanks for all the support. Have a good day.